Hello. Oh, it's Monday. Hello. Dun, dun, dun. Just doing a song for people while they turn up. And also while I sort out technology. You know, the small things. Boom, boom, boom. We're in. We are, she says, wrecking everything. We're in. Hope everyone had a lovely weekend. Oh, chihuahua. Monday, Monday, Monday. Quite a nice day today. I quite like Mondays. Hey, Jags. I like Mondays. I think I'm a rare breed. Hey, Kate. Kate, I love Mondays. You like Mondays? I like Mondays. Back on it like a car bonnet. Monday, Monday. Nazreen. Oh, yeah. Whew. Hope everyone's having a lovely... I've not been out today. Like that. Ooh. I hope it's been nice out there. I hear it's been nice. People do tell me. I love them. See, Kate loves Mondays. We're not just me then. I feel like I'm the only weirdo. Oh, it's going to get to be with you lovely lot, isn't it? You lovely lot. Isn't it, though? I get to spend time talking to you guys after a day and a half off. This feels a bit wrong. Love having phone calls on Monday. It's influence and judgment today. Ooh. There's a topic and a half. And let me tell you, and I will shortly. It's a really funny one, how people judge and influence each other. You're going to wait till like literally another 2 minutes just in case everyone wants to, hey, Hina! Like, Hina wants to join. See? It's also a bit weird when you see yourself on Tumlac on... I've got like 3 screens going and it really freaks me out. Gotta stop doing that. Oh, see myself in 3 different directions. It's bad enough seeing the hair. Actually, the hair's not bad today. It's not as good as when the hairdresser did it. It never is it? You haven't done the hairdresser, it looks amazing. Then you wash your hair and go, why? Should have never done it. I do that now. It looks so short. Look. I need to tan the back of my head still. I didn't get that tanned on the weekend. Can you see that tan line? That's not shading. That's a lack of tan. That is the lack of the tan. I'm just gonna. Sorry, that was handsy. Righty ho. Just waiting for any other takers. Oh, well then. It's 4 minutes past. That's it. There's Heather. Boom. Look at her. There she is. Coach Helen's here. Thank you. Right. Coach Helen for YouFit Studio. Having an itch. It's Monday. That's not the only reason I'm here. Hey, just come for an itch and I'll go. Influence and judgment. Oh. Now I want to bring this one in because it's if you've ever wanted to influence or your own behaviours or somebody else's, you can't do it. Well, let's just put it this way: if you ever tried to change your own behaviour or somebody else's, it's impossible to do it while you're judging, right? Now, why do we do it? It's an interesting one, isn't it? I don't know if it fundamentally I don't have the bottom answers, or well, I will go through what obviously is my opinion, which is you cannot influence somebody whilst you are judging them, right? So what is influence to start with? Well, influence is a number of things. Let's be honest. It's usually trying to get them to do something that may benefit themselves, and also to influence your own behaviours is to do something that may better your own situation, right? However, whilst you judge someone else and or yourself, it's not possible to make those changes, right? Number one. Okay, so why do we judge other people and ourselves, right? Because I first started by doing this, like, by the way, about judging others. Well, as the week has progressed last week, I realised that we do it to ourselves as much as we do it to others from speaking to clients. So actually, it benefits on both sides. Right? Do we judge people all the time? Yes, we do. We do. Like, as much as we might not say we're a judgmental person, actually, all of us 24/7 judge other people. There is no time of which we don't judge. And that's not a bad thing, by the way, because actually it's part of life. It just depends what we do with it and how much we're conscious of it. You'll like whether or not it's comfortable to admit it or not, we do it. All right. We judge people on a perception. We judge people on their behaviours. We judge them on. But what do we judge them on? We judge them on our behaviours relating to our own. So we say, oh, they're in line with my belief system or not, therefore I'm judging them or not. Right? That's why we judge others. And yet also, what we also do, ironically, is judge ourselves. Like if we don't do something according with what we think we should do, ew. There's one for you, Kate. What we should do or shouldn't do, we'll also judge ourselves. Now, when you're trying to influence change out of yourself or of somebody else, there is no more challenging kryptonite to that actually happening than judgment. Why? Because then we become critical of ourselves and of others, actually. So let me explain that a little bit more. So we're critical of ourselves, and I've had this a couple of times again, remember I planned these weeks ago, and I had a couple of times conversations this week, and I'm shaking my head because the self-criticism that comes from ourselves is sometimes deafening. The kind of statements that we make to ourselves in judgment are just so undermining, and actually what it does is without us realising, holds us back massively. It definitely holds clients back when I speak to them because let's use an example of this if you're doing it to yourself. So say a client wants to train, not even like every day, maybe 3 times in a week, and they miss a session for whatever reason, like nothing major. Maybe the kids play up or the internet goes down, and something happens where that client says, you should have done that, or there's a word. Why couldn't you do it? Now look what you've done. Criticising and judging themselves. What happens is that somebody then moves forward. They can't influence their own. How do they influence? If you've ever done this, you know the outcome is, right? 9 times out of 10, if you're not aware of it, is that actually you end up judging yourself so harshly you don't actually take a step forward and make plans to go again. Actually, you don't influence yourself in a positive way. You end up criticising yourself into the position where then you just basically, I was going to say, you've just fudged it up for the week. I would have used a stronger word, but it's before 9 a.m, p.m. I've not gone into lockdown time, I promise. What day is it again? Do you remember those days when I used to come on live and go, what day is it? Can somebody tell me? It's definitely Monday. Established that by saying it 4 times at the beginning. So that's what we do though. We criticise the point that actually we're judging ourselves harshly, that the influence we have isn't to give ourselves a movement forward. We stay where we are because we don't influence ourselves in a positive way. And we do the same with others to some degree. Like if you're looking to give a different outcome from somebody, as soon as you start judging them, you're not going to influence them in the way that you want, because you'll always assume they're going to be doing something against that. And we are our own biggest critics, let's be fair. Whenever I talk to somebody who has this mindset or has this habit of judging themselves, they will always be their own biggest critic. Now that isn't a overwhelmingly negative thing, in that I would probably say I'm the same. I'm my own worst critic. Oh yeah, I will always find a way that something could have been done better, and then I'll make sure it happens. I've accepted that I'll always find something that could have been done every single time, so it's okay. I accept that's who I am. The thing is the difference between influencing for an outcome where you accept it and say, okay, I know I'm doing this, and where I'm being judgmental of myself, and I'm making a decided course of actions with my thoughts that's okay, so I don't get like upset or frustrated or angry with myself. And then guess what we talk about, right? Thoughts, emotions, behaviours. I'm going to come back and do it again. Likewise, with some clients though, the judgment is too strong. They won't influence their behaviours in the way that they want. They'll create a negative feeling towards it, and then move away from the actual outcome or behaviour they're looking for, or the influence. Now, I'm going to tell you one of the things that really challenged me. Oh, crikey, when was it now? Well, it was pre-lockdown, I remember that. I think it was at back end of last year, was it? Yes, it was back end of last year. So like October, November, I went to a Buddhism course on a Sunday. And they were talking about a statement about influence and judgment that was really, really interesting. And I can't paraphrase it. I have the text somewhere because I bought the text afterwards because I found it so fascinating. And I remember being really offended by the statement, so much so that I made notes about it afterwards, because I was like, I need to understand how this works or how this relates. Like, how does this actually... I understand the premise of it, but part of me was like, I don't see how I can put this into daily living, even though that was the whole point of going to the course. It was dealing with stress in modern living with the ideas of Buddhism. And the basic premise is that the teacher was saying that the way to approach life when you really want to influence your own behaviours and habits is to deal with your own judgments. So, and this is how the language that he used, I think, that sparked something in me, like, oh, I'm not sure I feel, I'm quite offended by it. Maybe that's my ego as well. So when dealing with others, always see yourself as the lowest of the low. Because if you see them as your biggest teacher, you will learn something from them. I was like, oh, now this is interesting. So if you see yourself as, but the way I interpreted it, and after some time of going, ooh, and I talked to him afterwards as well, which helped, because I was a bit like, I was like that emoji, you know the one, ponder. So you see yourself as the lowest of the low, and he's like, well, no, actually what it's saying is that actually what you're doing is, rather than seeing yourself as being perfect, as being always ahead of everything, to actually accept that you're flawed, to accept that you're not perfect. And accepting not perfect means that when you're dealing with yourself and others, you're open to learning. I was like, oh, now that sounds like something I understand. So when you talk out, when I was thinking out, it's like, okay, so if I'm dealing with other people, or if we're dealing with other people and we want to learn or understand them better, to open our minds up and say, well, actually, they're not better or worse than me. I'm just going to listen, understand. I can always learn something from them, and also to learn from yourself. So if something doesn't go according to plan, rather than judge yourself harshly, learn, right? We should talk about a lot, how to learn from something and move forward, and then be able to take that forward in the next time it happens. One of the things it leads on to is that it's about self-love and the criticising side of us. That it is actually it's an internal thought process. Actually, the biggest learnings we can have is when we stop criticising ourselves and stop judging ourselves, and actually give ourselves a bit of a break. The common exercise I've done over the last couple of weeks is actually I've asked a couple of clients to write down the 3 harshest sentences they say to themselves when they're judging themselves. To actually write it down, not to think it, to talk about it, to actually write it down, to engage with it, understand it, put it on paper, and then come back to it and say, right, okay, these are the 3 harshest things that you say to yourself. What is the truth and what's the reality of it, which I've talked about in a previous live. Because in the act of understanding what the 3 harshest things that you judge yourself on, you can actually learn the 3 ways to learn how to self-love, or learn how to change your own practice of judgment or self-judgment, or judgments of others as well. And like everything, right, it is a practice and it is a skill. So it's actually the way of learning how to stop judging yourself. Because the biggest thing is to influence yourself in a positive and constructive way, which means you have to stop judging. Judgy. Because it doesn't give you the outcome that you're looking for. And it doesn't give anybody the outcome looking for as well either. And that's my 2 pence on influence and judgment. Kate or Heather, anything to add on that? We've now had audience participation for a few days now. I will recap it while you're having a thoughts of whether or not you're going to comment or not. I love you too. So the first statement I made is that if you've ever wanted to change something about your own behaviours or somebody else's, you can't influence somebody or yourself while you're judging yourself or others. It's just not possible. You can't influence yourself and your behaviours while you're judging yourself harshly. We judge ourselves, we're critical of our achievements or lack of them. We're our own biggest or worst critics, however you want to label it. Whatever statement sits true to probably the age you were brought up in. And that means that sometimes we can be the biggest critics of ourselves and others if we sense that we're not falling in line with the way things are meant to be for us. Or for others as well. Like if a comparison as well. Comparison is the worst thing to bring into that. Put that in the mix and it's a heady one. Elle talks about how in Buddhist practice they talk about how to stop judging yourself and others, and then you will learn from others and yourself. Because if you keep putting yourself as above the ability to do that, or as perfection or better than others, or you're meant to always be better, you're not in a position to actually learn from yourself or from others while your ego is the one taking control, if you like. They have part of that is learning how to stop criticising yourself, and therefore to some degree others as well, I guess, because actually you can't influence anything in life while you're doing both of those things. And that practice of self-love is that, right? To understand what it is that you're criticising and judging yourself on gives you the opportunity for then something to work on, to actually work on improving on or changing. And that can be quite uncomfortable, however seriously rewarding. Conversation I had with a client today is actually, I benched everything. I said, talking about protein in a meal every day right now is not the massive achievement you can make in life. Understanding why you judge yourself so harshly and then struggling to influence your ability to do habits is going to be far more rewarding for the next couple of weeks and the rest of your life than me checking whether or not you've got protein in the meal. That's true, right? Because having protein in the meal will influence ultimately how your mindset can long term take you into changing major parts of your life. There you go. So tomorrow, similar stream, looking forwards and not back. Oh, I can't show you the back of my head. I almost like that character from Harry Potter that's got eyes in the back of his head. Quite like that idea. But yeah, looking forward and not back. That's a good one. And then Wednesday, I like the one on Wednesday as well. How to know when your plan is working. Evil plans. So we've got a couple coming out this week, some good ones. And Thursday, wanting what's easy until it's not. Then that's the schedule. So tomorrow, looking forward to not back. Then how do you know when your plan is working? And then wanting what's easy until it's not. That'll be a fun one. So have a lovely evening, guys. Enjoy whatever you get up to. And I will catch you tomorrow at 5. Ciao.